Liverpool, Leicester, I salute you. Brilliant friendly. That first half in particular, one of the best I've seen in a non-competitive match. The Reds won 2-1, but there's no real winners and losers in a match like this, just lessons learned. So from a Liverpool perspective, here's the good and the bad. We'll start with the good, and Mohamed Salah, my gosh, I told you he was a potential sign of the season contender. What a goal. From receiving Coutinho's crossfield pass out wide, he played a 1-2 with Alexander Trent-Arnold before slipping it back to Coutinho and kept moving inwards into the box where he headed Coutinho's looped through ball past the grasp of Kasper Schmeichel. It summed up Salah to a T. The tricky winger in him who will always keep the width, the intelligence to link with others, and the forward in him who will always be on the move for a sniff at goal. It was his second pre-season goal after the tap-in versus Wigan, and it shows his variety in his game. Sadio Mane missed a trip to Hong Kong as he recovers from a season-ending injury, but when he does return, my gosh, the pace Liverpool will have will be electric and will frighten teams to death. As too will the former Philippe Coutinho, who was the game's best player and is quickly becoming world class. FSG, I'm going to need you to show some balls in the wake of Barcelona's interest and reject all bids. I don't care how much money is offered. You saw how difficult it was to replace Luis Suarez, who's even better. There's very few who can replicate what Coutinho did versus Leicester. He absolutely ran the show during his 45 minutes on the pitch, with his assist for Salah's equaliser and then his rocket off his shot nestling into the back of the net at the stroke of half time. What really impressed me though was his playmaking abilities. He was pinging the ball about without a care in the world. It reached fever pitch when Riyad Mahrez of all people had to grapple Coutinho down to the ground to stop him. I made a video about Coutinho's ability to play from a deeper midfield role earlier this year, and I'm glad my positive thoughts on this has come true. He looks just as menacing playing deeper as he does in his usual role. With Salah taking up one of the attacking slots Coutinho took last season, this can only mean more goals without disrupting the defensive shape of the team. I do have to use this chance to segue into the negatives I saw, and the first will surprise you as it partially involved Coutinho. In the video I spoke about earlier, one of the drawbacks I saw to him playing in a deeper role is that I don't see him as someone who can control a match. Now whilst I do concede he did that versus Leicester, it took 15 minutes and a Leicester goal for him to get his act together. On a couple of occasions, he played those crossfield passes into touch and relied too much on threading through balls into space which trickled safely back into the opposition's hands. It meant momentum was hard to build, something Liverpool have struggled with since Xabi Alonso left the club. Lallana was anonymous and generally speaking, he's far too often flatters to deceive with his touches, whilst Wijnaldum is prone to being very passive. If Coutinho is going to fill that void, he's going to have to be more consistent and perform from the first whistle to the last, especially as no one else in the squad is capable of doing so. Lack of momentum going forward is exacerbated because of another midfield issue which has existed for years, and it reared its ugly head again as Liverpool cheaply lost possession and then failed to put in a single tackle and ball watched as Leicester knocked it about for 30 seconds until Islam Samani scored. Although Leicester only scored once, they repeatedly threatened. In another incident, Mahrez nutmegged Lallana and ran between him and another player before Lovren had to give away a foul in a dangerous area. Lallana was later sent shopping as this time around, Albrighton turned sharply and narrowly missed a target whilst Lallana was running in the other direction. Finally, a long ball sent Vardy in on goal as Clavin tried to play the offside trap but Lovren didn't, leaving space to get invaded. Lord knows how Clavin recovered, but it wasn't before Lallana dangerously came sliding in out of nowhere. In all these exchanges, all I could think about was how badly Liverpool need Naby Keita. In attack, he has more presence than both Lallana and Wijnaldum, whilst defensively, he reads the game better than any Liverpool player have. Speaking of which, I have a video on 5 players Liverpool could sign instead of Naby Keita, so check that out after this video. To wrap up, the difficulty Liverpool have had signing top players this window, plus the numerous weaknesses they have already throughout their team, means Coutinho is irreplaceable, at least for now. No amount of money Barcelona will realistically offer could make up for his departure, and I'm glad Klopp sees the same way. Have your say in the comment section, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notification of future uploads. Till next time, ciao.